All right, continuing to work on the 49ers offense for the Super Bowl game 2 years ago. We've got ourselves in 21 or 12 personnel, always depending on how you want to count. Use check, receiver split out to the other side. I personally love this formation just because of the stress it puts on a defense. With you're adding two run gaps with these two players, but the guy who's going to have to account for one of those run gaps is likely going to be a corner or a safety just because of defensive structure, right? You're in a normal personnel package in 21 or 12. You don't get the chance to add an extra player to the field, nor would you, at this level of football. You've still got to take your nickel player and put him out to the number two, that 50B or wherever that hybrid linebacker, stick him out. And now that means you don't have an extra player to play through. So you've got an extra gap to deal with to that two tight end side. We end up getting a wide zone with the split look. So we're going to get the kick backside, fit, downhill, nice cut, right? I mean, just looking at the kind of the balance of this press, cut, right? We're going to get that pressing the edge. He's aiming one by one off the tight end, and then he's going to plant his foot. Once Color crosses his path, he's going to plant his foot and go downhill. Color has crossed his path, so he plants his foot and goes downhill. Pretty. I mean, it doesn't seem like anything incredible when you're looking at it, but realistically, they're picking up 5-6 yards on reasonably basic plays. Kind of base offense just being that consistent, right? Plant, go. The tough block, you've got the wider split here. The tough block is the right tackle getting to there. Those backside blocks like we've been talking about, an outside zone, wide zone, those are the tough blocks, especially when the guy's Nick Bolton. You're not chasing a slow guy. You're chasing an off-ball athletic linebacker here. That's a tough block for the right tackle to get to. He just doesn't get there, to be honest. But, fortunately, if you press the front side, you make him chase. You can make that guy miss if you run the play at pace. Front side, center is really heavy. Left tackle is really heavy. It makes a little more sense as to why the left tackle is heavy. He is trying to force that player onto the tight end so that he can then climb. He's trying to make the running backs read for him. If he's going to jump outside and play that, knowing that he can't overtake this, he's got to force it onto the tight end and climb. And what they're trying to do is make this a really clear read for the running back, right? If the running back sees this, he knows, because don't forget, the left tackle has no idea what's happening back here. So he is trying to establish this for the running back to do that, right? If this guy tries to jump outside and we can't overtake him, you've got to force him out so that you can climb to the second level, which, to be honest, he doesn't get to. He's got his head down. The center does a little bit of the same thing here, where he's really heavy on that 3. Like, that 3 is definitely jumping outside. I personally would tell the center not to lose his shoulders this way. I'd want to see him climb that a little bit more aggressively, but it is wide zone. We do want to get that lateral stress, so they're pretty heavy on that 3. I think that's maybe heavier than it needed to be. This linebacker could have potentially shot weak A and made the play. He didn't. He settled on it, and he kind of brought himself to the block, so he made the center's job easier. I'm not sure this is a great job by 50. I guess I don't even know who 50 is. Not a great job by 50 there. But either way, it is what it is. It does make a very clear declaration, right? We can see how that pushes the 3 tech. That's the same thing they were trying to accomplish out here. Good cut. The backside cutoff is important here. This backside cutoff never happens, but fortunately they hit it soon enough that it's not an issue. And again, this block not being as heavy on the linebacker because of how long he went meant that linebacker is still in position to influence that tackle. So it's always nice to see your base offense, even when you can go through and pick little things that could be better, it's nice to see it just function and be consistent and pick up 5 or 6 yards a clip, just off easy cuts, and not, I shouldn't say easy cuts, but off consistent cuts and reads on the part of the back and matching well with the offensive line scheme.